Thank you. It's good to be home.
We're just grateful you would take time to come back and be with us to tell us something of your story
Great to be here.
and reflect on the journey as first crucifer to environmental lawyer.
It has been a long journey.
So that's I want to hear what your 20 years is like, so that we can reflect on our 20 years.
It's been a good couple of decades.
Good. So I understood that we didn't have a crucifer for the very first service.
No.
And so how did you tell me how you got into that?
Yeah, I was. I think I was like 9 years old or something, I believe. I think Mom had come up to me and asked me if if this is something I would be interested in doing. To lead the way, I think, is what she kind of described it as, and I was like, well, that's a request. But it was exciting though. It was really exciting, and I was I was like, I had my cousin there, Jake, who some of you know, and so I felt comfortable doing it because he was going to be by my side, and so I said, yeah, sure, I'll
I thought the question came from you.
I don't remember it that way.
I heard the way I heard the story.
A long time ago.
The way I heard the story. We'll see if we concur here or not.
Sure,
But
sure.
the way I heard the story was there was no crucifer at the first service, and you asked about that.
Yeah. I think I did inquire as to who was going to carry the cross in or something, so nobody was doing that, and I think I was curious as to why that was, and so then
Curious from the start.
Yeah, I think so.
Sometimes our questions are almost more important than our answars,
I
aren't
think
they?
that's exactly right. I think
Yeah,
you
they're
have
the ones that help
right
us
questions. They always do. Yeah.
Travel a bit. Yeah.
Exactly.
Obviously, to have gotten where you got, you had to have been baptized somewhere along the line. Where did that happen?
That was at a pretty early age.
You don't remember?
No, I think what I do remember is Mom brought me up, and I do remember I said I don't want to do this. Everybody heard that one. That was pretty early on, but I got christened as well, and that was when I was 13.
Confirmed.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Begin with a C.
Confirmed. Confirmed. That was when I was 13, and that was more of a.
Now, was that a little easier decision?
Yeah, that was that was.
Yeah,
it was. That was.
Well, someone once told me that to be sure to thank the person that brought you baptism, because part of your being here today is that.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Do we have to thank your mom for that?
We got a couple
and your grandma.
We got a couple people to thank. Yeah, it's not just Mom.
Okay.
We got
a few more.
We got two people to thank on that one, and that would be my mother. You'll all know her as Lynn Porter Howerton over there, and my grandma, who I have to thank for a lot of things as well. So,
super.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I think, are you 28, 29?
If only.
Oh, 27?
The big 3-0.
Oh,
yeah. Well, thank you, though. That's I know. That's really nice of you. Thank you.
Well, it's especially because you're almost 30 or 30. You are.
I am absolutely 30. All every bit of it. Every bit of it. I feel it too. I feel it.
I'm 71, and you'd think that. But we do have one big thing in common.
Really?
And yeah, we really do. And that's both that we ended up in kind of professions that didn't exist when we were born.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, we weren't, when we were 3 years old, we didn't dream of being an environmental lawyer and priest. I mean,
No.
it just wasn't on the cards.
No, not really.
So it's kind of interesting. One of the things I love about St. Matthew's planting the seed is you never know what's going to come out of that seed.
That's right, yeah.
So the seed blossomed into... So what can you tell us about what got you into law? What took you in that direction?
I'm not sure necessarily about law, but I know I remember I told Mom when I was in like 7th grade, I think, that I wanted to be either a scientist or a lawyer.
Oh, so you put them together.
Yeah, and I've been really fortunate to have done both, which, you know, I think the right doors have opened. There's been a lot of doors that have closed and a lot of doors that have opened, and I've been fortunate to kind of walk right through the good ones. You know, perhaps there's sort of an invisible hand kind of guiding me right through the ones that I needed to go through.
Well, and some of those closed doors were helpful too, because if I wanted to go that way, and God wouldn't let me go that way, that was kind of a help down that door.
I think that's right. Yeah, it really has been. Yeah, it really has been. But yeah, I guess I decided that I wanted to go into the environmental field. And I think that kind of came about because really of like 3 people, kind of my upbringing, and that would be my dad and my aunt Rexanne and my mom, and my dad who he doesn't come to actual church, but I think that's because he kind of sees his spirituality in nature. And I think he kind of sees it outside, and so all of our vacations had been in kind of nature as opposed to in you know, more I don't know, you know, kind of Disneyland. I don't think we went to Disneyland until I was maybe 15 or something. And
well, even Walt Disney, you know, is kind of interesting. He had an image of utopia that he was trying to bring to Disneyland. But you know, the wonderful thing is, I think it's St. Thomas Aquinas used to say that God is seen in 2 places most clearly. One is in creation, and one is through Jesus Christ. So you got them both.
I think so.
I think that's pretty fabulous.
I think so, yeah. It worked out.
And you know, I have an astrophysicist that lives across the street from me. And he loves to tell me that the very stuff, that every atom that we're made of came out of the stars.
Right.
We're made from the stars.
Yeah.
And even the blood and the fluid in our veins is virtually the same percentage of salt as is in the ocean, that we came out of the ocean. So you see, it's just great. I just love that image of our affinity. I think our affinity for nature is absolutely innate. And one of the things that I'm so excited about that the church is doing is that your parents are my age, we brought up kind of with this sense of original sin. We never really quite knew what it meant, but it often just made us feel like we weren't quite right or something like that. Sure. And you know, all it really is saying we're not perfect and we like to figure things out ourselves and go another way, and God kind of tugs us back. Right. But what we've forgotten is original blessing, which is the very fact that you and I were created. And the very fact that we're all here together today is just amazing. And that goodness, the more recent theologians are trying to retrieve what they said in the first verses of Genesis, that we are created in goodness. And so they're using the word original blessing. And what happens is that people often don't do paradoxical thinking. So they think, well, if we're all good, then we don't have to worry about, you know, going the wrong way or anything. But it's a paradox of the two together, original blessing and original sin. And that's the new kind of balance that the new liturgies are trying to bring forth, so that you can delight in that every single one of us, God is thrilled, has shown up on this earth. This world would be different if any one of us were not here. And that's pretty powerful stuff. So I'm glad I'm glad you feel that. I can sense that. And I really think that kind of innateness in nature has a clue for all of us. I wonder, other folk will think a little bit about how they discovered their own vocation. So, so what I understand. I mean, I'm from Minnesota, so I married a Southerner, but so I got some good Virginia stuff.
Good choice.
But I understood that you went the other direction. You started out in the good Virginia soil, and then you headed north to Vermont.
I did, yeah.
What was that like?
It was really, really different. But you know, I had only ever lived in Virginia. I grew up here. I was born and raised here. I went to school in Newport News, Virginia, for 4 years at Christopher Newport, and then I And then I went to grad school at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia for another 4 years. And then I had decided that I wanted to go into the environmental law field. And I kind of realized I had only ever lived in Virginia. And I thought, well, there's this school out there, Vermont Law School, which is the nation's top-ranked environmental program, which is what I wanted to do. And so I thought, well, this could be a really unique opportunity for me and a very different opportunity for me. And so I went up and visited because I had a friend who went from the grad program that I was in to that school, and stayed with him, and he kind of showed me around a little bit, and I kind of fell in love with the place. It was just it was beautiful. It was just nothing like I had kind of seen. It kind of reminded me of the Appalachians here, but just.
I think isn't it part of the same strain of mountains or something?
Yeah, but the Green Mountains are up there, and they're just, but they're bigger, and they're just gorgeous. I mean, just a beautiful place, and so I kind of fell in love with it, and thought, well, this could be a really cool place to go for a few years, and so I kind of took a chance, and it worked out. Really well.
Marvelous. See, you expand your horizons and it works out. It's kind of like the way God invites us to do. Yeah. One of my favorite theologians is named Frederick Buechner, and he has a wonderful image of vocation that I kind of like to pull this to some ending. And you can all continue the conversation with Zachary afterwards at our wonderful reception, and think about your own vocations as well. But Frederick Buechner says vocation, which is the work God has called you to do, is the place. It has two parts. It's the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep need meet.
Yep.
And if you only have one side of those, you haven't found it yet. Right. So it sounds like you've got both of them going for you.
I think I've got.
I'm really glad
now. So
place where your deep gladness is and the world's deep need is.
I think that's right.
And and I think that, and the good thing about the coming year at St. Matthew's, a church has a vocation too.
Of course.
And it's only 20 years old.
That's right.
So it's got some wonderful things. Yeah. Well, so you're 10 years.
I know. I got a decade almost
than we got. So I'm glad you're starting us out in that process.
That's right. I'm trying.
And thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mary.
Take good care.